Welcome to the dashboard overview video. If you'll pay attention to the cursor that's moving here on the screen, that's the one that I'm speaking about and referencing. There are many screens that have arrows like this of various colors that are calling out certain things. When you first log into the dashboard, you often will see this splash screen, which indicates that we've made an update of some sort to the solution. Over on the left-hand side here, you see the different menu options, which we will be covering from the top to the bottom. If this is clicked right here, the next thing that will be shown is the change log as recent as the past few months, and you can see what's been added, what's been changed, and those types of things, which can be very helpful. Under the My Phone screen, you have a place up here where you can see active calls. You could actually type or copy and paste the number in here and click Call to initiate a call. You can click the Configure button over here to add or remove extensions that you're monitoring. As you can see, you have Do Not Disturb, Call Waiting, and 3 different types of call forwarding that can be enabled from this screen. By clicking this number or this name here that's indicated with the arrow, you get an option to either call that extension or leave a voicemail for that extension right from your phone. This screen here shows an active call in session. You can see who the call is with, and it shows Keith Demo at Awesome Inc. This would be the name of an individual at an organization if that's the way it's shown in your CRM, and your CRM is integrated with our phone solution. Otherwise, it would just be the caller ID. I could transfer the call from here. Again, I could configure who it is that I see here under extensions. Clicking this would open up the transfer screen, which I'll show you momentarily. This would start the recording screen right here. And by clicking this name right here, it'll take you into that record in the CRM where you can quickly and easily see contact information, and you could start entering a note or some sort of indication that you made that call. By clicking the transfer button that was previously shown, I have the ability to transfer the call to any of the contacts in the system, transfer directly to a voicemail of a contact, and it's handy to be able to see what the status is of each extension. In this case, this extension is idle, this particular extension is in use. As you can see, you can transfer calls to conference rooms or you can park them. By clicking the Start Recording button, I get this dialog box which lets me know that I am recording the call, and that's very helpful. This screen again highlights the fact that you are able to initiate a call from here. We've also added click to dial, which is very convenient. This indicates that Do Not Disturb has been turned on for this particular extension, which happens to be 924, and obviously shows Do Not Disturb here under the status. This particular extension, which is called Keith Softphone, is currently unavailable. Over on the left-hand side here, I'll point out that you can see voicemails that have not been attended to and the quantity, as well as chat or text conversations that need to be addressed. By clicking the call forwarding option, by turning that on, you get this dialog where you can put in the target extension or phone number that you want all of the calls for your extension to be forwarded to. This would most often be a cell number, but it doesn't have to be. And you would just type that in there and click activate, and then all calls would be forwarded as you directed. Next area here is the voicemail area. We like to call this a visual voicemail. Of course, with our solution, you're going to get voicemail attached to an email that's going to come to you, but you can also manage it through this interface, which is very handy. The yellow arrow is pointing to the folder area where you can save messages to specific folders. You can forward by clicking this arrow. You can forward to any user in your organization. You can download this message and save it locally. Maybe you want to attach it to a record in your CRM. And probably the most popular option for voicemails is to delete them once you've listened to them. And by clicking here, that's how you make that happen. Under the reports screen, the main area that you would spend a lot of time in would be your call history area. What we're showing here with the yellow arrow is the ability for you to actually block calls if you want to block a number. The plus sign here is showing that if I click this, that will actually open up a dialog box where I can enter a note to attach it to this record in the CRM. And the microphone here indicates that there has been a recording done with this particular call. You'll notice that calls show up slightly different depending on if they're in the CRM that this is connected to. It translates them into that record. Otherwise, it just shows the caller ID. In this case, I have clicked on the microphone, and so I am actually seeing and can play and listen to that call recording. Again, here we're calling out the fact that there is one new message over here that needs to be addressed. If I click the plus sign, as I mentioned in the previous screen, this is what opens up, and I have the ability to type in a subject and then to type in a description about that particular call that will, when I click save, will actually put it into the CRM. And here's what it looks like when I go in and take a look at that. Type a subject. Here's everything that I had typed in that previous screen, the status of that call, whether it was inbound or outbound, the length of the call, and some other valuable information. Under the call recordings area, we make it convenient for you to search by date range and specific extension to find specific call recordings that you may need to review in the future. We also provide you with some nice reports that you can run and you can see visually, in this case, queue calls by hour. In the queues area, you have all of your agents listed for each extension that we've set up for you in the system. In this case, you can see that this particular individual, Keith G, is marked as busy, so he's not going to be able to retrieve calls. His extension is not going to ring on inbound calls that come to any of the queues that he is a part of. Everybody else who's listed or shown as green here is available and can retrieve calls. This is an example of some live inbound traffic that's not being answered at the moment. So you can see all the extensions that are ringing. Here's one that's still available that isn't ringing. That's why it's green. And here's the two callers that are waiting to be answered, how long they've been in the queue. And this transfer button gives, let's say, a manager or anybody who's assisting the ability to transfer that call to somebody so they can pick that call up, or they could transfer it to themselves. This is the conferences screen, and we provide you with unlimited conference calling. Just tell us what extensions you want set up and if you want them pin protected or not. And so there's three actual callers in here. Here's some internal extensions that show up for these individuals. And here's this individual that's from outside the organization, but since they're in the CRM, they show up like this. And I could click into either one of these and go into their record in the CRM, which can be super handy and convenient. If I'm a leader or a co-leader of a conference, I have the ability to have these types of controls where I can mute someone or everyone or kick people off or lock or unlock the controls. We have individual actions that we can take on a person. Maybe they need to be transferred to another extension because they're done with this particular conference, but they do need to speak with somebody else. Or they haven't muted the phone on their side and they need somebody to mute it for them. The microphone green here that shows up indicates that this is the person who's speaking, which can be super helpful to match a voice with a name if you don't know everybody on the conference to see who the actual speaker is. I've transferred those calls that were in the conference over to the parking lot, and you can see that they each get assigned a specific parking slot. They can be picked up by the right person or anyone in the organization by dialing 71, 72, or 73, or they can actually be transferred from here as well. Here's the example of an incoming call toast notification, how that would show up in the if the dashboard is running on the computer where the call is coming in. This is an example of a notification of an inbound text message in the chat area. In the chat area, you can see, again, we have this click into the CRM enabled from this area because the system knows this person and the organization. We can also see the text history that's going on here, and I could continue this conversation or start a brand new conversation by clicking the plus sign, choosing the number, the business number that I want to begin that text message from, and just put in a number that I want to text to. In the faxes area, the send fax screen gives you the ability to choose the fax number that you want to send from, your recipient name, the recipient's number, and you can choose up to 3 individual PDFs to send as a fax. When it's being sent, it's a light blue box here that says processing, but once finished, it either turns green and says successfully sent, or it is red and tells you that it failed and often tells you the reason why. This is what a received fax area would look like. The nice thing about this is not every piece of fax that's coming into your organization goes into paper. They can come in via email. They can come in here as well. And you can choose which ones need to be printed very easily from the screen. In the settings area, we have the ability to add a mobile phone. Everything else gets set up the first time you log into the solution based on your email address. And here we have the CRM integration screen where your CRM would be here if we've already built the integration. If not, contact us about it and we can see if it's something that we can connect to. And this is where you just put in that information to make it super easy for communication between your phone system and your CRM. We're back to the end or the beginning, as it were, and I just thank you for your attention here today and look forward to future videos coming real soon.